It was a great win, great team win on Saturday versus North Carolina State. I was really proud of our kids, our players, and our coaches to play a game of this magnitude, in-state rivalry, ACC opponent, a non-conference game this late in the season with the conference race right at hand took a lot of focus by our group, and they did a good job. I thought the staff did a good job of planning last week and having great preparation, and the players did a good job of executing the plan and during the game making adjustments. I keep mentioning that each week, but during each game you have to be ready to make adjustments, and our staff has done really very good job at that, and the players have done a good job of taking the adjustments. Really, they look for adjustments or fix-its, quote, quote, fix-its on the sideline from all three sides, and that's what you want. They have that, I keep using that term, coach me coach, train me coach type mentality, and that's a great trait to have by a ball team. I thought we approached the game in a fashion where we want to start fast. We played each play, one play at a time. I've talked about that. I thought we had a really good mental approach entering the game. It was we knew it was going to be a contest and a tough contest, knowing Dave and the things. I know what he was approaching the team, and talking to Coach Confer last week, understanding how he would approach, and he did. And from defensively doing some things that they had not done before, and offensively same things, but the kids did a great job of adjusting. It was a big win. I'm extremely proud of our group. I'm also extremely proud, as y'all know, of Pirate Nation and the way they showed up, the way we showed up over there. That was big time. It was you didn't know, or I didn't. We had an idea, but not to the magnitude that it was. Our fan base travels great. That's why East Carolina is a really good bowl attraction for any bowl, because we travel. But of that magnitude, and when it's hard, if you're not on ground level and trying to have a conversation with your coaches and players, it was strictly a silent count day for our offense. We had to, and defense, we had to really, on the sideline, coach to coach, you had to really talk in a loud tone, lost my voice during that tone. But to feel the energy was unbelievable, unbelievable. I always say that when we here in Dowdy, bottle that up. But if we could bottle the energy up we felt the other day, I put out, it was a goosebump moment. The purple and gold chant was eerie, and I was in a zone at the time and didn't really even hear it until Lincoln said, "Coach, stop, listen." And when I did that, and I could hear it, that's when I heard it, but I didn't know what was going on. And then Link said, "Hey, Coach, stop. And listen to that." And boy, that was a great deal. Great win. 24-hour rule was not in effect, more like 8 hours really for us, maybe 12. We had to dive into Marshall pretty quickly, staff-wise, to get the plan going. And because of the short week, today is a practice, and tomorrow and Wednesday shortened with Thanksgiving, school being out. So we felt it was important to, not just as coaches, but the team did after the game in the locker room. They were very happy to win, but they also know that we have another game coming up that has a lot of significance to it as well. And the way they handled it after the game was expected, but it was great to see too as well. So we began, dove into Marshall yesterday, and of course full-time today. And because of the game being on Friday and everything of that sort, and to be a little bit discombobulated for us with lab being today, so we've had to adjust and with players, class schedule and labs, but the kids will do a great job, and the coaches have already, we dove into it, so we'll be right on time. Injuries, same. Jaton's out. Drayvon Fairley, he's out, but he's getting some work now, getting some workload. Maurice Fall is questionable with his leg, but Jake's still out. Davon, Zico got a little work, Still doubtful right now, but Zeke got a little work. Hopefully we can get him more work as the week goes on. But it was just good to see him out there, and his leadership was one thing that we needed, and we took him on the trip versus North Carolina State. So it's a great win for our team and our program, our university, and of course our great Pirate Nation and Pirate family. I was very, very proud about that. Next, we got to get on to Marshall very quickly. I've known Doc a long time. Doc and I are very similar in our careers as far as both being lifers. Both traveled quite a bit, different institutions. Defensive guys. I think our teams reflect what we've been around defensively and what we've faced offensively. And his team is one that, as you know, after the season, Doc made some changes, and they've really done a good job all year. Been a consistent ball team and one of the best teams. And one of the things that everybody talked was this game was coming down to the Eastern Division representative. So it is that, and traveling to Marshall on Thursday and play on Friday at noon. So looking forward to the week first. The game is there, but looking forward to today. Making sure you have a great practice today. That's very important. And the game plan is still going in motion right now upstairs, but having today, or really tonight, a great practice is the first objective and the first thought and the first goal for our team and staff. I'll start with offense. Rakeem Cato, Player of the Year last year, deservingly so. First team All-Conference USA. Quarterback has done a great job last year, done a great job this year. He's 3,000 plus yards, 32 touchdowns, not very many picks. He's also is a quarterback we have to be concerned with as far as mobility, ability to scramble, extend plays. He's had 4 rushing touchdowns. They rotate a group or a plethora of backs. Excuse me. The starter is Esray Telefero, very fast, very quick, has surge, can run, shifty, 800 plus yards, 9 touchdowns, 5 yards a carry. Also, they throw the ball to Esray out of the backfield. He shares time with Stuart Butler and Kevin Grooms. Both those guys are really good backs. So we both have a similar type approach where we can rotate backs and keep them fresh. And they have a great group of backs there, and they all contribute. Grooms has 500 yards and 6 touchdowns, and Butler he has 600 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. So they do a great job of not just sharing time, but being productive. Their top receivers, I think Gator Hoskins is one of the best tight ends in the league. You guys have done research on him, and Gator was a good player. I thought he was a good player last year. He ended up second team in the conference. I don't know how all conference, but he is definitely having a great year. He's a favorite target of Rakeem, and he does a great job getting open. They flex him like we do our tight end, move him around, and he's definitely a weapon for him. Tommy Schuler, of course, does a great job. He's an inside receiver, but he's a guy you have to be concerned with as well. Speed, ability to go up and attack the ball, catches the ball very well. He was the first team All-Conference player last year, and he's got 80-plus receptions right now, 9 touchdowns. Devon Smith's a transfer from Penn State for him. He's a return guy as well. He's averaging about 17 yards a punt return, one of the top returns in the country. The last 3 weeks, we've faced the top 3 punt returns in the country. Our punt team has, and it'll be another tall test this week with Devon. He's quick, small, but has speed and very shifty. He's got 29 touches, 600-plus yards. We have to do a great job making sure we keep eye on him. They have a lot of weapons able to spread you. Up front, I think it's like I do and like we do, understand that up front is where it all starts, and they have a really good group up front. And there'll be another large offensive line. One of the largest we faced. They're very agile. They play together. They do a good job of both run and pass, protection and block. So Alex Schuler and Chris Jaspers Those guys are two of the guys that lead them, but that whole five, those top five can do it. They're top in the nation in a lot of categories offensively too. Scoring and total offense and those things. Really big test for our defense, and we have to have a great week of practice. Marshall defensively, they're a 4-down majority front line, defensive line. They will get some odd three-man look like we saw it versus State and we've seen this year. They do that. They've been more of a man-type coverage on the back end with a blend of zone, attacking up front, movement and blitz. They have the DBs to do it. They have they're top in the ranks. We go back and forth in the conference as far as rankings and those kind of things, from second in total, third in defense, and scoring defense. So they've caused 22 turnovers. I was watching the Middle Tennessee game. They had a chance, 2 chances there in the end to end it, but that was an exciting game, even though I watched a little bit of it on TV, but to watch it in full coaching film was good. Jermaine Holmes, another linebacker, another really good linebacker we'll face. Seems like since Tulsa, every week we face a big guy in the middle. Jermaine's a really good player. He's 6 foot, 245, can run. He's a leader of the defense, leads them in tackles. Physical, very good football player, also can cover, but he's a good football player. They don't take him out of the game at any time. He's there. Rashad Myers, the defensive end, really gets up the field, athletic, 6'4", 6'5", 250. Defensive back, Montarius Lovett shows up a lot on film. I could go on a lot about these guys they have on defense. A.J. Leggett's a safety and does a good job, and James Rouse is another defensive inside guy that causes disruption. And so defensively, they've done a great job, Doc has, and getting his personality into it. They blend a lot and they press you a lot, so we'll have to do a great job up front, again, of protecting Shane and communication and making sure we play one play at a time against their defense. And I mentioned Devin Smith already on punt return and where he ranks, so it's a great challenge, exciting time. You look forward to this, and then coaching, you look forward to this opportunity, and both teams have worked their way into this position. So I'm looking forward to preparation this week and looking forward to the game on Friday. We're ready for it, look forward to it. You know, we practice in cold weather. We'll practice tonight. It's going to be 30, 20, whatever it is tonight. And last night I felt like I needed to give the guys a little break because we've gone, this will be, 5 games, 28 days, I think, something like that. I'm not maybe off a little bit, but looking forward to it. Ball security always an issue, but making sure we take care of the ball, but same thing for us, same thing for them. So it's just a great atmosphere. There's so much going around. When you start playing, the coaches are colder than the players. You know, I got to make sure I'm wrapped up. I love the kids, but I want to make sure I'm wrapped up on this thing. I got to make sure I have a toboggan, and I call it toboggan for you Northerners. It's a hat. You know what I mean? Toboggan is that. I don't know what toboggan is this, not the sled thing. So, but we're looking forward to it. It's great that time of the year. One of the things my dad told me way back in high school, if you're practicing and playing when it's cold, you've had a good season. So we're still playing in this cold weather, and so that's an honor to be doing that.
Could you see any similarities between Rakeem and Shane?
Yeah, a lot. They both are the generals of their team. Rakeem is not just the quarterback of their offense, and I thought he earned it last year. But like Shane, they're now both the quarterbacks of their team, not just their offense. They have great decision-making skills. They both distribute the ball extremely well. They both have the ability to extend plays, and they're both two of the top quarterbacks, not just the conference but the country. And that's when you watch them. They do a great job, and they would be good quarterbacks in any league and on any team. And Rakeem is, I've always thought about Rakeem. I told him that last year after the game, and I have nothing but positive things to say about Rakeem. He's a really good player, but he's a good kid too, you know, and you can tell the team. I watch the team, how they react to kids, and then you can tell how how he's perceived in that laboratory in there. And so the kids on the team think a lot of him. I think it's the fact, and I've said it a few times, I think the group has decided to own a vision or a goal, and then our job, my job, is to make sure we understand, okay, here's a vision and goal, but here's a process. And understanding the process is one of the most important things in this game, and that's just from years of being around it, doing it different ways. But if your group understands the process, and for us, it's, yes, we have a goal for the team, and now this week, it's a goal this week, and that's Marshall. But even before that goal is making sure you have a great day today. And even more immediate than that, making sure each play today is at a tempo and a rep that gives us a chance to be successful on Friday this week. So the group understands that. The large core that we have, they do a great job of interjecting that throughout the team. They were excited to win, but they also have a sight and have their goals set, and it's neat to see. Our kids work very hard, and our staff works very hard, and they believe in themselves, and they trust one another. They trust us. I was talking to Donnie Duncan the other day, and he was talking about Coach Snyder at Kansas State. And Coach Snyder, I mentioned, was the second person to call me when I got the job. We had done battle in the Big 12 over there, and a lot of games. And he's always had that team was ready to go, and they looked like they would hunt for him. And he said his teams believe in what the coaches tell them. And our players believe in each other, but they believe in us, and knowing that we won't lead them wrong or lead them astray. And that's why on the sideline they're looking for us for adjustments. So I think that carries over to after the game, your question of how they are able to stay focused and understand, look, we got a short week. We got an enormous contest coming up on Friday. It's what you work for and what you coach for. It's playing what everybody all year long pointed at this, and we worked out to this, and now it's just getting back to what we do. And that's how we do. We can control anything that Marshall does. Doc has a really good football team, but we can't control how we prepare and how we work, and this group understands that.
You were able to get Adam Asali into the game on Saturday, and of course Treyas came in and played pretty well. So what do you need to see from Adam for him to start this week, or who can we expect?
Well, that's a good problem to have. Trey's done not just good, but outstanding in Adam's absence. And then to have Adam back, and Adam can also play left and right tackle. So it's a great problem to have. I think they'll be this week, and then Brandon will see who's practiced best. But I feel good with both those guys in there, and Adam even rotating at left, which we did last week. So I thought there's two groups that you can't sub too much during the game. The secondary, the back four, and the offensive line, that starting five. Like for that period, we played about 3 games in a row where they had about 300 plays between them. That's a lot for a big man. And now to be able to rotate Adam in there and get him some work, and we have some other guys working too. Working at JT Boyd's really come on. He's not a young guy anymore. Taylor Hudson's not a young guy. That's depth we're talking about. So those guys have done a good job, and Adam is back. It's just great to see him run out. He had his goggles on, which was cool. That's one thing I told Jake. I want him to have goggles on. That's cool. And he got a shield, so he looked at me. I got him. I go, yeah, you did. And but he played well. He's been humbled by the process because he understands that it's not about him. That's a no ego, and it's not about entitlement. It's an honor. It's a right. It's not your right to play on this team, and he understands the concept of team because the ship kept moving and kept getting better without you, and that's what we want. It's not a one-man show, and it's a team. That's the only way we deal with things here at team. Throughout our whole athletic department, that's how we work, and that's why it's a joy to work here, because everybody thinks team concept. And the team, like I said, if one person would have said no, then it would have been no.
Is that going to be the same thing for Danny and Quante?
If I get to that point with him, it was a point where Terry had done really above and beyond, and he's done everything I've asked him to do, and more. And I think he's been very humbled, from community service projects to all the things we've asked. I won't get in detail. That's for Coach Confer and our staff to know. But what he's done, everything I've asked him to do and more, and been out a significant amount of time. And when I got BT's pass, and I've got the final thing with everybody else, and then the final thing was a team. And if the team said no, it was no. If one person would have said no, everyone on the team had to agree. No coaches had a vote. So that's how we do it here.